Good evening. My name is Joe Blicky, and it's my pleasure to be the president of the Board of Directors of WCTV. As always, I want to thank my fellow board members, Rick Aronofsky, George Breslin, Chris Neville, Walter Collins, Vicky Giannakis, Paul Hipple, Elaine Hoff, Tom Pizzara, and Cheryl Soderquist for the dedication and hard work and make me look good as president. I want to thank the staff and the volunteers and the supporters of WCTV. And as I stated last year, without you, this studio could not exist. I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes of last year's annual meeting.
Motion moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Good, man. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Sandra Curtin, our executive director, who will introduce our special guests and give a review of what transpired last year.
Thank you, Joe. I would like to start off with an award for you, which I think came out particularly lovely.
Well, I'm glad it did.
WCTV Wilmington Community Television Award presented to Joseph Balicki for his many years of dedication and service, and today's date.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll give you this to
You
wrap
know
it.
that.
Oh, a few more people came in. Welcome. This is our 25th annual members meeting. Yes, this is our 25th anniversary, incorporated in 1987. I think that works out. WCTV has grown over the last 25 years into a state-of-the-art community television studio. We have approximately 300 members of all ages, and we also have 29 organizational members. Our studio is the envy of local paid media stations. People come from different communities when they're interested in doing some work on their studio to see what our studio looks like, and they take notes and ask us questions about it. They're all very impressed, and if you come down to the studio, you'll be impressed too, because it really is gorgeous. Not only is our facility top-notch, we've recently expanded. Behind this wall, over in the corner, is a new 10 by 30-foot storage area that will house our new portable kitchen, program archives, and the new professional set and background choices that will soon be available to our volunteer producers. They're really going to knock your eyes out. They're so good. I know they're going to be great. We have also added a dimming system to our lighting grid. Above you, all these lights are controlled by a grid that's over to the right, and each show can be set up in a particular way. I see Paul Cardello here, and his lights are set up in a particular way, and all they have to do is turn on his number, and all the appropriate lights will show, and the ones that he doesn't really need will stay unlit. Our producers can set the studio lighting according to each show, and that's what they're doing. Our staff cannot be forgotten. Nothing would advance without them, everyone having their own expertise. And that's true. Everybody on the staff is good at not just one particular thing, but is a specialist in one area of the productions that we have. For instance, Lisa is a fabulous interviewer, and she does that all the time. Amanda is our PR person, and I turn to her all the time to do some PR work for us. So sorry, we just had a strange sound. Our first speaker is Jim Maselli. I invited Jim to say a few words on the occasion of our 25th year of service to Wilmington. Service and Wilmington are two things Jim knows well. Jim Maselli.
It was a pleasure to be invited here this evening because I know the good things that you really do for this community. This station is part of the community. People have really embraced it. They learn from it. They listen to it. and they talk about WCTV channel here in Wilmington. And as I said, it was an honor to be invited here this evening. And you lend a vehicle to the public. In other words, there's something to be said, if there's a debate to be heard, if there's a message to get across, this is the vehicle. No longer do you have to depend on a candidate's night, and there's nothing wrong with those, believe me. No longer do you have to depend on a candidate's night, but you can pick up the phone, call this station, and see if you can arrange something with the directors and the people who run it. When we've had problems in this town, when there have been problems as far as crime is concerned, things of that nature, you lend another vehicle. You've listened to many of the programs that Chris Neville has brought to the fore here. So it really, as I said, it's an honor to be here tonight and to know that we've got this facility here in town. And first of all, I'm not taking any credit at all. This was done by you folks out here, the staff, people who put this together all the time, and have made it really interesting. And what was really of interest to me this past few months, Paul Cardello had that program, iPods for Veterans, and how he could take it as a local issue and really made it a national issue. He hears from people in other states, who want to contribute, who want to donate to this worthwhile cause. So this station has, I don't want to call it power, it has a lot of authority. As I said, you can do an awful lot for, you're talking about veterans at that time, people who are in the hospital, who've really made a lot of sacrifices, who've lost limbs, who've been at the forefront of the two, Afghanistan and Iraq, been at the forefront of those two battles. And the public really got a chance to see what was happening. And they did it really through your vehicle here. When Paul took the folks to Washington, D.C., I think some of the locals saw the War Monument and the Vietnam Monument for the first time. And it was through this, it was through this program. So I don't want to monopolize this evening, but I don't see anybody waving anything saying, stop speaking. So I'm going to take a few liberties. First of all, I want to give you something to commemorate this evening. I want to present you an American flag and a state of Massachusetts flag that was flown over the State House, both of these, and I hope that we're going to see them flying over this building in the not-too-distant future. So I'd like to give those to you. And here's the letter of certification that says that I requested those be flown to commemorate your anniversary. And I'd like to present a citation to you this evening, and it reads as follows. And it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Wilmington Community Television in recognition of your 25th anniversary. Established in 1987, WCTV has given the residents and civic organizations of Wilmington a voice on cable television. Through the hard work of your many dedicated volunteers and producers, WCTV has created many high-quality programs of information, education, and entertainment, connecting the people of Wilmington to our community. And I said that earlier. That's what you've really done. This is the vehicle. This is where people find out what's happening in this community. And I'll bet if you did some surveying, and I would assume that you do, or some polling, you're going to find out a lot of people watch this station and depend on it for the information about the community. May you have continued success in all your future endeavors, and the entire membership extends its very best wishes, expresses the hope for future good fortune, continued success in all endeavors, and it's signed the 21st day of March 2012 at the State House, offered by Bob DeLeo, Speaker of the House, James Roselli, State Representative, and it's been a real pleasure working with you, and may we continue to work in the future. Congratulations. Oh, let me tell you, you invite me, and I'm delighted. What politician would pass up an opportunity to broadcast out to as many people as I'm doing tonight? Good.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
And we did ask Jim if he would give us the flags, because we're not actually going to put them outside. We'd like to have them up here, especially for Sports Forum, where they're working with the veterans and having programs about the veterans, that we're going to have them up here on a permanent basis. It's the one thing we didn't have on our stage. Now, what I'd like to do is move on to our newest staff member. Amanda Geldof was a wonderful find. The Wilmington and Tewksbury Town Criers, Stoneham Independent, share our confidence in Amanda's skills and abilities. Amanda is our PR person, and I'd like to bring her up here for a minute so that you could meet her and hear what she has to say.
Thank you, Sandra. I believe I have met most of you already, but for those of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the Public Relations Coordinator here at WCTV. I was born and raised in the incredibly beautiful state of Kansas, where, yes, all yellow brick roads really do lead. I received my degree in journalism and mass communications from the University of Kansas, where I became an award-winning web producer for the University Daily Kansan. I have experience in reporting, copywriting, copy editing, and designing for both print and online publications. I also have experience in corporate communications, including internal communications and public relations. I have worked as a professional communicator for companies such as JCPenney, Sun Publications, more recently the Woburn Daily Times, among others. My family and I moved to Massachusetts last year, and for the last 9 months, I have been lucky enough to call Wilmington my home. I joined the amazing team here at WCTV last September, and since that time, we have updated the WCTV website, we have expanded our social media outreach, we have created and maintained a very successful online blog, and created an online viewer survey that is designed to help us better understand the community we serve. Through collaboration with the ITT Technical Institute's Wilmington campus, we have reformatted and revived our college and high school internship program. We currently have 2 promising candidates from ITT Technical Institute for the spring internship, and we will be accepting a minimum of 3 summer interns. We are also currently developing a new youth outreach program with Brandon Shorey, our youth outreach coordinator, spearheading that, community contests, and 25th anniversary interactive promotions. Through the marketing benefits of our 25th anniversary and our many other efforts to open communications and strengthen our relationship with viewers, we have seen a growing interest in WCTV programs and events. With personalized attention and one-on-one interactions with these viewers, we will cultivate that interest and transform it into participation and community involvement. I look forward to the exciting year ahead of us at WCTV and hope to see each and every one of you at our 25th anniversary celebration events throughout the year. I'm sure it will be a pleasure getting to know each and every one of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. Now you can tell she's a wordsmith, isn't she? Everything sounds so good, especially that yellow brick road. I liked that. Now Joe is going to take over again. Here he is. And we're going to have a vote for people who are interested and have applied for to be in the one seat in the that is open in the Board of Directors. Joe.
Okay, as Sandra says, we have 4 candidates for 1 seat on the Board of Directors. And I guess these candidates are going to say a couple of words before we take the vote. So I guess we're going to have one video from Bob Semino.
Hello, my name is Robert Semino. And though I realize that this format might be a little unusual, I do want to present myself as a candidate for the Board of Directors of WCTV. The reason I cannot be with you tonight is that I'm an officer at Friendship Lodge in Wilmington, and I am there as you are watching this tape. To give you a little background on myself, I've been a Wilmington resident for 20 years. I have about 30 years of experience in both photography and videography, and I have over 10 years experience in IT and digital media. Right now, I am a producer at WCTV. I feel that I have a strong working relationship with the staff there, more particularly the director there, Sandra Curtin. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity and wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.
And thank you, Bob. Next, I want to introduce Dan Howard, who is another candidate for the board.
Wilmington Community Television members and guests. I have a background in nonprofit organizations at the front line. My educational experience is I do have a bachelor's of arts in management and several graduate courses in educational testing and psychology and that sort of thing. I've produced over 80 hours worth of educational programming, primarily football and lacrosse. I believe that my standing as a director on the board, it may be a little premature. I may need a little bit more seasoning, so to speak. That is to be presenting things to the board and not actually directing therein. So I would hearken a call to choose who you feel is best for this position. Thank you.
And I'd like to introduce Lisa Valenti, another candidate for the board.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda Valenti, and I've been a Wilmington resident for 24 years. I have a son who is a junior at Wilmington High School. I would like to be considered for a board of directors position that I feel I could bring innovative ideas with a business background and formal education with a degree in business administration. Having been employed by the same company for more than 30 years, it has trained me in all aspects of running a successful business. I have experience at every level. I'm involved in all issues, goals, concerns, whether it's with workers or managers. My job includes, but is not limited to business plans, budgets, hiring, and training. I have helped to build a business through strategies, techniques, and strengths of the organization. I would apply these same qualities to WCTV as I have to my job over the last 30+ years. Thank you.
Okay, we were going to take a vote right now, but I just saw that Michael Kyra arrived, and so I'd like to introduce him. I would like to address another special guest, the town manager, Michael Kyra. As most of you know, Mr. Kyra will be retiring as town manager this September. Mike, I know I'm not the first, nor the last, to tell you that I'm very sad to have you leave. Personally, I'm saddened by you leaving, but want to wish you all the best in your retirement. Please come up and say a few words. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate Sandra's kind words and the kind words that have been extended by so many of the folks in our wonderful town, the town of Wilmington. Part of what makes it wonderful certainly is WCTV, and I'm here to join all of you and to commend you for the 25 years of outstanding service that you've given to the community. You're now working under another exceptional leader in Sandra Curtin, but in addition to Sandra, the real backbone is the members of the board of directors and all of the volunteers who work so hard to provide us with the kind of local access that the town of Wilmington wants and that I think the residents deserve. So as one person who has had the opportunity to take advantage of that over a number of occasions, I say thank you. I wish you the very best, and who knows, there may be a second career here in television for the town manager. Congratulations.
Actually, we've notched out a little place for you. We know your skills on at the podium. Now we're going to start our vote. So Lisa is going to ask the candidates if they'll follow her out to another room of torture somewhere, and Joe is going to run the election.
All right, good enough. So, for the Board of Directors, either vote for Bob Semino, Dan Howard, or Linda Valenti. Then I believe it carries. Linda Valenti will be our next board member. Okay, so the vote was taken. I'd like to congratulate Linda Valenti as our next board member. Thank you, Linda. I'm sure you'll work out fine. It's a wonderful group of people you were going to work with. And
Do you want to have an acceptance speech?
Oh, oh, she's going to work out well.
I'd just like to thank everybody at WCTV and having confidence in me, and I hope I live up to all your expectations, and we'll do a good job. Thank you.
All right, I think we're just about ready to adjourn. I do have to have a couple of words, though. I've seen this studio come a long way since the Swain School, since the dark, dank, unheated, buggy, flooded, wet, flooded basement that we were in, and that I was served as board members. At times we had the board meetings on the second floor of that building. That was real scary. And it's turned into a beautiful studio here, and a lot of great volunteers, board members, and a lot of great staff. I think you've done an outstanding job. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
We're going to have highlights of this year that Bill has put together. And as you know, Bill's work is great. So he'll start running that reel shortly. But you're welcome to get up, look there, get coffee and stuff, and we'll have the reel running in the conference room and in the reception area. All right? Thank you very much.
This little guy's name is Fabu, and Fabu is a fox from the African deserts.
Wilmington 2011. Good.
I like the fact that it's all local. I mean, there's so many chains, there's so many places where people can go to buy just about anything.
It seems right now the feedback that I have from the vendors is that it's going smoothly. They're selling what they need to sell.
Hello, I'm Lisa Capala. Welcome to Where's Wilmington.
We're not ready to give up yet. Right now, I have a torn meniscus, and they just had to take it out, and I just tore my hamstring.
Certainly, obesity, the health challenges of Americans today is huge.
I didn't even know I was ready, and she invited me to a class, and I don't know. I was like, I think I could do this.
Really, you have to look at the schedule, and the way I work with my clients is we say, okay, realistically, how many days do you think you could
fit this in?
I only could go for about 4 hours of the event, but in that 4 hours I saw the survivor ceremony.
I found out at 27 that I had something rare called ovarian lymphoma.
My grandfather he hadn't shown up yet for dinner because he was down in his basement lab, and I went down in his lab and he was making sparks and connecting things, and I just thought, this is the coolest thing in the world.
I really like it. I get a kick out of trying to inspire kids into the sciences and things like that.
Right.
And there's, 1 or 2 engineers operating each of the different stations that are going on, and they get to, mill about and, experience it.
So from about 18, 20 years old to I'm 70 now, I haven't played.
My coach, he heard that I was a singer, and he asked me to sing at the game.
Really?
The varsity game, yeah. So I sang at a few of those games.
Main character is a young boy who finds out he's not his real father, isn't his real father. It's a pool player.
I won the speaking contest in the 5th grade, and my brother, who since this long time passed away, said, "You're going to acting school, and I'm paying for your acting lessons."
Experts have said that, if you go into finding a job and you don't really want that job, the next person in line who really wants that job is going to take it right out from under you.
Right. As a kid of 9 years old, my brother Jackie was a fighter pilot in the Navy, and he actually flew with the Blue Angels, and he flew with in many air shows. And he came home for Christmas in 1956. I was a 9-year-old kid, a mischievous little kid, and he was my hero coming home.
I went to school for video production. I worked several summers at a sports camp. It's for younger kids between the ages of 8 and 15, and I've got experience teaching them video.
Decided I wanted to become a part of it and came up to volunteer. Shortly after that, I found myself sitting at a desk with a job.
Awesome, and so here you are.
Exactly.
Town Manager Michael Kyra, how's it going today?
It's going very good. I just hope the rain is going to help out and stay away for a little while.
Yeah.
Sunday we do the squares that are named after military veterans, and then Monday is our parade. And
we're always going to hope, anybody that ever wore the uniform is always going to hope that you're going to run out of veterans one of these days, but that's never going to happen.
So the response to that was pretty overwhelming, like I said about the handwriting, asking them to write with their opposite hand. That was telling.
Now, in the Senate, just so you know, there's only 3 people that are still actively serving. That's Senator Kirk, me, and Senator Graham.
What did you get out of your trip from Afghanistan? What it mean to you personally?
Well, it was humbling to have the opportunity to go, and to go as a soldier versus a senator, as I've done before.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our Remembrance Liturgy of the victims of 9/11.
A BMI, or body mass index, is a measurement that shows a person's weight by height for age, and it's
to get the direction about the optimal diet and level of activity.
And then he went to Bay Street, and then we moved up to Lowell Street.
In our environment, we address musculoskeletal issues predominantly, sometimes sports medicine injuries.
Focuses on disorders of the musculoskeletal system and the nervous system,
I've been doing some work with the Brain Injury Association of Massachusetts, and we go around to the schools, we go to court-ordered programs, driving offender programs.
Fertilizers, and if they do, they use a fertilizer that comes from the earth.
And then got my, received my Master's of Science degree in Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy from the Institute of Health Professions associated with Mass General.
It is the devotion to duty that gives us all strength. The legacy of our veterans continues to inspire our American soldiers today who answer the call to duty.
Did you tell me what you want for Christmas?
I don't know.
You don't know yet. You're going to leave me a list, though, aren't you?
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
From the Wilmington Police and Fire Department, we wish you a happy holidays!
And we just want to thank all our troops for all the hard work they've done for us. And happy holidays!
Keep Christmas with you all through the year.
Oh, so the German fortifications look like the little pillbox, huh?
The pillbox has probably a foot of cement, well fortified, and the Air Force would drop, back in those days, the most powerful bomb they had, couldn't even dent it.
This is Bob Boyce, and I'm here with Richard DeAngelis, and Richard is the owner of As Good As It Gets. How are you, Richard?
Outstanding, thank you for asking.
It's been a small town when I first started here, and it's just worked out very, very well.
Yeah.
We're at an intersection that you can't beat, so we get a lot of traffic.
It seemed natural. I mean, I've always been running around the upholstery shop since I've been able to run, I guess. So it just worked out well.
Once I graduated from aesthetic school, I went on to managing several day spas as well. So I got a little bit of first-hand experience in the whole management and running a day spa.
What do we want to tell our troops overseas?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for protecting our freedom and country.
There are 12 Webelos that will be crossing over into Boy Scouts tonight.
Lives within it, lives in harmony with its environment.
So you can kind of see how it's just making sure everything isn't tucked in there and nothing's going to fall out.
And you see that there's a little bit of fat in the pan. Typically, I would drain out the fat, but because these Chinese sausages are a little bit leaner, I'm not going to drain them out.
So what we're going to do now is we're pan-searing them because we want to get a nice crust on the outside of the meatballs.
In the Scout Oath, the young Scout promises upon his honor to do his best, to do his duty first to God and his country, second to other people by helping them at all times. And
Top Sports is an indoor program that's open to all special needs children.
Gives you a nice picture of the front of the steam engine.
Then our next photo stop will be at Cobb Road.
This is simulating some students happen to come across the crash, and they're going to call the fire department and get the ambulance going.
We're going to put it on. Don't watch your glass. That's all. Yeah.
Graduates, please stand. I now present Wilmington High School's class of 2011.
especially excited because this was Chuck Close, who's still a living, breathing artist, and we do talk a lot about him in my classes. And he's paralyzed from the neck down, and he's overcome this paralysis to create these paintings.
Hello, my name is Kate Burnham. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of the Wilmington Public Schools. Welcome to In the Loop.
Creative problem solving for kids from kindergarten through college, but in Wilmington we only focus on kids from kindergarten through high school.
We really get to see all the fun things that the kids get to do and just see how creative the kids really are.
During this program, we will be discussing the high school building project.
We have done to date is a building needs investigation.
We looked at over 8 sites overall with the building committee in quite some detail, evaluated them.
How would the project-based learning environment and the tools you need to support it help you as a student to be successful in the classroom?
I think that it'd make a big difference because a lot more hands-on, kids always say they like more hands-on things.
In fact, Wilmington High School years ago had a school store, and we knew that we needed to have one.
And then we also sell breakfast items. In the morning, students can get an orange juice and apple juice combo with a muffin.
I know in the life skills department we were encouraging our students to use hand sanitizer.
Over the summer, the history teachers at the high school have been, 6 of us have been involved in a history grant.
We went and took a little tour of the city, a walking tour, and Lowell, I guess, has over 250 monuments and memorials.
It's also important to know what documents for parents to bring. First and foremost, the parents or guardian of the child going into kindergarten or preschool need to be doing the registering.
Ours is held off a little bit longer, and our registration period is in the month of June. So by that time, the majority of the families should already be registered for kindergarten.
The children will be assigned a bus stop. That comes out the end of August, and we give that information to parents the night of the kindergarten orientation.
Raised $2,000 for the left block that he would play his guitar for us. But we raised over $2,600. I don't know about you, but I think it's about time for Mr. Barrio to pay up.
Into your mind when you hear the word kindness?
Kind.
What is the first word that pops into your mind when you hear the word kindness? Helping somebody?
The Candidates Night is a long-standing tradition here. Residents have come to rely on this forum as a vital tool in determining who's going to earn their vote.
How will you vote on the town meeting warrant article that would create a local meals tax in Wilmington?
I would definitely not support that. I'm going to let the residents of the community vote at the town meeting whether they accept it or not.
At this time, I will be opposed to it, but I do reserve the right at a future date to reconsider that decision.
I also wouldn't support the tax.
All those in favor of Article 22 as presented signify by rising at your place. The vote is as follows: 63 in the affirmative, 53 in the negative. The motion passes.
We are very fortunate today that she's not on a home visit. Is Laura Pickett.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
And she is our new case manager. She's been here for a couple months. You'll be seeing her in the community. You can see some of their artwork here, the students here. And we're very, very lucky to have an instructor. Her name is Carol Hulbert. Rocking for
I noticed that in your notes, you base this on 960 students. And my question is that the maximum number of students? And the second part is, have you done any projections forward to see whether we would get into an overcrowded situation or an underutilized situation?
What we're really looking at is a decline.
So with the number of teaching stations that are being planned, you can essentially add a student to a classroom and increase your capacity.
The disc is actually pervious. It has a number of different holes in it, and it has a lattice that's made out of a polymer. And one of the things that was most concerning about this is what it actually does in the plant. Yeah. And you touched on that just a little bit in terms of the way that bacteria grow on it. Could you elaborate on that just a little bit? Because that's an important element of the story as we get a little bit further into it.
Yeah. These things, this little matrix allows bacteria to adhere to it and grow to it. And they float around in that tank and they're aerated.
The first is Article number 1, to see if the town will vote to appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds an amount of money to be expended under the direction of the town manager and the high school building committee.
We're talking about building lots of labs in the new high school. Well, that's great, but if we're not funding the programs appropriately, then it's not going to help us to have a shiny lab if we don't have the teachers and instruction, the courses.
For those here who think that all of us are against a school, I want you to understand something. We're not against a school. We're not against education. We just want to get it done right.
And my concern is if this gets voted down, we're going to inherit a bigger issue.
We are going to each individually be paying such a minimal amount for an $81 million school.
To see if the town will vote to appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds an amount of money to be expended under the direction of the town manager and high school building committee.
The tremendous number of changes in the educational program over the past half a century since Wilmington High School was built is driving the need for a very different looking high school.
Of the 338 towns that reported information, Wilmington ranked 135. That's top third.
Those in favor of Article 1 as presented signify by rising at your place.
And an additional community forum that has been held over the past several years to discuss the Environmental Protection Agency's oversight and remediation plans relative to the Poland Chemical Superfund site.
And then when you move closer to the site, under Main Street, under Jewel Drive, and under the site itself, you get into these deep valleys within the bedrock, and that's where the most significant layers of contamination, hence dense aqueous phase liquid, have pooled.
What would prevent Poland right now? They always seem to be ducking the problem. And I'll say that, I'll probably say that 20 times. Prevent them right now from going out, taking care of this gentleman's problem, tying into the town water system.
As Matt Ferrera gets back on the defensive side of the field and DeAmbrose comes back to the attack side, Layton comes around the net, shoots and scores. Pass from Layton, shot by Foley, and a score.
Oh, he lands it. Put it in the hole.
And they ask a lot of the time.
I know what you're going to ask me. You know what I'm going to say?
They ask me a lot of it. I hate it too myself. Is pro wrestling fake? No, it ain't.
Really? What are you going to do about that? What? What is it? Huh? You know? Go. Michael. Hey. Now wait a minute. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
And tonight we have a very special program. We have as our guest Shonda Schilling.
And you know how you come through customs and they asked if you're carrying any vegetables or any sort of things, and Grant goes, maybe we are, maybe we aren't. And it was one of those moments where you can't really explain what Asperger's is, but you know, you're thinking this could be a really long afternoon.
To get a timeout and get bodies off the field. So Ferrera, handoff
Up the middle and into the end zone goes Parsons.
And you guys know this as well as I, we lost a really good player that transferred.
We actually were in a Winchester one last year, and that isn't happening this year because they tore up the courts for a new building.
Erin's doing good. She's married. She has a 4-year-old little girl, so I'm a grandfather. Marin is a beautiful little girl. They live in Milwaukee.
And Air Canada had a controller strike in Canada. And we stopped in Burlington, Vermont. And we got off the plane in Burlington, Vermont to get on buses to continue our trip up to Montreal.
Yeah, and that was, they used to, they put in some money, we had to put in some money.
There's, you know, he bowed out, he announced his retirement today, but 22 years in the National Hockey League and 3 Stanley Cups.
Yep.
This is Paul Keller reporting from the Basketball Hall of Fame and enshrinement ceremonies. President and CEO John DeLea. He's been really gracious to us on the WCTV Sports Forum. John, welcome to our program.
Thanks, Paul. It's nice to have you here. Welcome.
You know, 2010 was the first year we played them. You know, it was a good game in 2010. It was a typical first game.
We have the captains and head coach Joe Maiella on our program tonight. So to my right, sitting right next to me is head coach Joe Maiella. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
First of all, the weather was great, made up for the debacle in Dallas of a year ago, and that just simply made it so much more enjoyable.
But today was a ceremony dedicating the Merrimack basketball court. It's officially named now Bert Hamill Court. Mack going into Marshall, number 31, covered by Diaz. Looking for Mency. Wayne Mack, NBA three-pointer. Shot off the rim and good.
Shooters roll.
Wayne Mack was scoring 30-28.
Here at Tibbetts Brook Park in Yonkers, New York, Rosecroft Raceway here in Fort Washington, Maryland, on location at the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas. And it's high and it might make it. Oh, it's a poster! Hit the post! Israel, Sri Lanka, you know, exotic locales, but also locales where they can sometimes be global hotspots.
Yeah, the AFL sought me out to work for them, and I sort of worked out the position that I was an international cup ambassador, and once it all started, I really wanted to create some awareness about what footy's doing overseas.
McLean takes it though. McLean's got it, he's on the run. Handballs it over to Shippers now. Shippers taken down.
Stays in play though.
McLean's got it now. Really tough angle. He's going to try it, though. A banana kick.
Oh.
It's a goal. Tough angle banana kick by the skipper, Al McLean. Ambassador Beasley, first of all, thank you for joining us and welcome to Stateside Footy.
Yeah, well, what a privilege it is to be patron of USAFL. And this is one of the best ways of proselytising. A trip to the home of AFL.
And she's just going to go with it. She plays on. And able to get around a tackle, and she's moving with it now is Emily Reel. Reel moves with it. She puts out a big kick toward the sticks, and she kicks a goal! And both of you actually just came back from a trip to Australia, where you were part of that International Cup team that did had the great finish there. 3rd place, and you were 1 quarter away from being in the grand final.
Oh, it was it's tough to think of it about that way.
Knocked the ball away, and with it now, that's Walt Lynn. However, they've got it now. The kick! The goal! And Drake Dawson takes it right back in front! Beautiful kick there, Dawson! Who's been one of the huge forward players for the Demons this year. Another incredible mark. And the kick goes up, and it's gonna make it! The Demons have hit the front again on the strength of a Grant Dawson goal.
Tyshawn put it in. Into Coley, drives. Yes! Nice rebound, and Cole puts it in.
Looking to run. Just to bring to the basket. It's 2-2. Let's see what Wilmington does here. Christina Wilson to Lauren McKenna. Alex Green, that looks good for 3.
We're going to have a pop quiz.
They have studied all week for these questions, and I expect them to get them all right. So we drew straws, and the straws decided that Sam is going to go first. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. Pumpkins only come in one color. True or false?
True.
That is false.
I knew it.
Yeah, Sam's is on a string, Megan's is dying, unfortunately.
Mine is sitting in my backpack.
And Matthew's is being very docile and
I don't know. He likes to hang out in there.
Stick it in the bowl, get as many paper clips as possible, then you're going to remove it, put it outside, and without using your hands. No using your hands because that's cheating and you'll lose points. You're going to shake and get as many paper clips. That one doesn't count.
This is Edit A. This is where you can edit any production on Max. Now we're gonna go talk to Megan.
Hi, Max.
Hi, Megan. We have a few questions for you.
Sure.
Okay, the first question is, what do you do here?
I am the Youth and Media Associate at WCTV. I do a lot of things with youth, such as yourself. I run the summer programs and a program on Saturdays during fall called Saturday Playhouse.